I think I'm going to take a tour of the USS Intrepid. Come along. I'll learn something cool. If you're a veteran, you get to board the tour of the ship for free, which is wonderful and surprising. All right, as I wander around, I'm just gonna guess at the aircraft, and then I'll look at the sign. First, I think this is an F-105. Well, nope, I'm wrong. So we're 0 for 1 so far. It's the Israeli Aircraft Industries Kfir. Ah, it's a Mirage. It's a Mirage 3. Here we go. This one's hard to miss. This is the F-16, as you can plainly see by the F-16 General Dynamics Air Force fighter. This is an A model. Thunderbirds still fly this. You can see the ejection seat and where the Vulcan cannon pokes out the side there. Sidewinder missile, heat-seeking missile. We have a Lockheed, it's an SR-71, but I don't think this is an SR-71. It's got Air Force marking, so it's something like A-12. Yeah, it's a Lockheed A-12. Did the same thing as the SR-71, but for the Air Force. 14D Super Tomcat. 2 Pratt & Whitney engines. The entire plane is built around that missile that's on the cart. That's an AIM-54 Phoenix. So on the wing pylon is a Sparrow and a Sidewinder. This was my favorite plane growing up as a kid. Loved this thing. It's fast, it's maneuverable, but it's god-awful expensive to run, I guess. And this was replaced by the F-18 Hornet. I have an A6 Intruder. You can see that from the wing, actually, A6 by Grumman. Good movie to catch, Flight of the Intruder. According to the little document that I'm not showing anybody, this is an A6E. These were bombers in Vietnam. Then we have, I don't know, Blue Angels coloring. This is an F-111F Tiger. Carrier based before my time. Another one, Navy, not sure what that is. That's Cougar. Cougar. Looks like 4 50 cal machine guns in the nose. Cougars were delivered in 1951, and 1,988 of them were built. It did carry missiles, AIM-9 Sidewinders, but I love the 450 cals. You can just barely see, if I can get my hand in there, in the nose. Yeah, this is a radar. I don't think it's an E2. It's an E1. Another one before my time. It's called the Tracer. This was a predecessor of the E2C Hawkeye. And we're coming up on another one that I want to say it's not an F4, single engine. I got no idea. It's an F3H2N or an F3B Demon. Foldable wings, lots of camera systems. We have a trainer of some kind, I assume. Look. Aermacchi MB-339. It's an Italian Air Force plane. What's it got? Is it the A1? God, I think it's the A1. Not sure. It's a Douglas Skyraider. AD1 Skyraider, yeah. We'll start with the helos here. I don't know anything about helicopters. This is a Sikorsky Sea Guard, Coast Guard cutter. I do remember something, they could land these in the water if they needed to. You can see on the side rigging for pulling up people. Sikorsky, this is an H-19 Chickasaw. Probably use the Marines. I think it's a movie or a TV show where a guy had one of these, and I think it was pink. But I bet this is also the helicopter that they flew. Was it not Apocalypse Now, but Full Metal Jacket. A Harrier. Big intakes, suck in a lot of air. AV-8 Charlie. And probably can't see him with the light, but in between the fuel pylon on the left and the body, back underneath the wing is a rotary nozzle that would come down to make VTOL. But we'll find out together, I guess. This is an F4D Skyray.
In about 4 minutes, we do have a free aircraft elevator ride.
All right, let's take an elevator ride. Then we'll take a look at the F4 Phantom. So I'm assuming there's going to be too much wind. But down there in the bottom of the frame is the USS Growler. I think that was its name. It's a submarine. You can take a tour on that. I don't know that I'm going to have time. But it looks like it had early cruise missiles on it. That's interesting. So I'll do story time now. When I left for Navy boot camp on Halloween 1988, October 31st, 1988, flew out of Portland International Airport. There were probably 20 of us on the plane that were either going to Recruit Training Command San Diego or Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego for boot camp, either Navy or Marine Corps. When we were taxiing, the F-14s of the Oregon Air National Guard were taking off for night maneuvers of some kind, and they did a full afterburner takeoff for us. That was really, really cool. So the pilot said, hey, everybody look out the window. And these F4s are going to do a afterburner takeoff. And the nose came up and the exhaust was bouncing off the runway. Spectacular. The pilot of our plane said that he had been an F4 pilot, and he said it was proof that if you put enough thrust on it, you can fly a brick. Oh, that's a cool story. All right, so the elevator ride was fairly uneventful. So, F-4 Phantom, Vietnam era. Didn't have a gun at first. They had to put a gun pod on it. This is an N variant, probably one of the last ones. It's replaced by the Tomcat, and then the Hornet. A7. And it's not, it's an F8. Crusader. Yeah. The wings tilted up for a lot more lift. MiGs. It's a MiG-17. This is what, these two MiGs is what the F-4 Phantom would have fought, and the F-8. F-8, the F in the name stands for fighter. In U.S. Navy, you give a F for fighter, A for attack. And you go to like the Hornet, and that was an FA, fighter attack aircraft. Filled two roles. Not great, but it did them. It does them. So here's a MiG-21. NATO calls this the Fishbed. Intrepid was really a World War II aircraft carrier that saw service up until Vietnam. So in this instance, it still has some of its old armaments on it. So here, oof, above your head, going up, and out of the frame. Really needed to get the joystick on this. It's a 5-inch, 38 caliber anti-aircraft gun. It's a big boy. Here we have probably a 20 millimeter Orlican, welded down. You can't move it. We have it's called a Mark 56 gun director. And I'll stop going that way and turn around and come back. But this is the radar system that controlled the guns. Told them where to shoot, what to point at. According to tours, now we're in the sail. We are in the navigation room. Pretty cool. No, just coming in, but that's the CO's sea cabin, so the commanding officer. Well, let's see. We're on board the flag bridge, and this armored section is the battle bridge. So that if this section that I'm in right now gets destroyed, really try to ship from back here. These windows, you can see they're folded out so it cuts the glare. We come into
oh, funny you should mention that, Deb. That's exactly where I am. That's in the Admiral's Bridge. It's video of flight operations on the
come through. Chief of Staff cabin, Admiral C cabin. When there's an admiral on board, knew what happened when the admiral wasn't on board. It's the only time I've been on a ship I've been taking a tour. I served in the Navy the right way, on airplanes that were too large to land on the flight deck of an aircraft carrier. All right, so very dark in there. The camera's probably not going to pick it up, but that's the 5-inch gun handling room. This is where they would keep the Marines. Firefighting equipment, some lockers, berths, and those can be, see the chains and the hooks, those can be folded up, have more walk around room. I'd lay odds it was packed in here back in the day. We'll come out here, marine berthing. Come down. To this deck that I don't know what it is.
Wow.
I'll head up to the anchor chain, I guess. Officers berthing examples down here. They got a little bit more space than the Marines. So the anchor chain room, that was huge. Oh, I can't get it to tilt down, but huge anchor chains and the anchor stops. A room for rigging. Let's see, restrooms exit. Holy shit, that's Legos. That's the Intrepid in World War II layout. Completely done up with Legos. That's insane. What we're in right now is the main hangar bay. Here's another model of the Intrepid. She's served from 1943 to 1982. She is in late, probably 82 flavors, although I don't see Tomcat, so probably predates that. Oh, here we go. We got some chairs, and then an ejector seat. Some seats from the ready room the officers would sit in. Dental chair here. And then the Highline chair for if you were getting resupplied, you could hoist a person from one ship to another. Seems crazy to me. Come through here. Good. See a propeller. Oh, that's an Avenger. TBM Avenger. Torpedo bomber. Oh, there's a torpedo right there. Look at that. That is classy. That is spectacular. That is, oh, good Lord. I forget what this was. Korean War era fighter. FJ3 Sabre? F3 Sabre, yeah. And the first really practical double rotor helicopter. Used for picking pilots up out of the water. And then a A4 Skyhawk. Let's go ahead and end this here. Go back and be with my family. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for coming along.